Now, 500,000 students at Queensland's primary and secondary schools could be stuck at home today as more than 50,000 teachers walk off the job over pay and conditions. The Teachers Union has waged a lengthy campaign for better pay and better working conditions and has flatly rejected an 8% wage rise offer over 3 years.
It has urged parents to keep their children at home today, but says no student will be left unsupervised if they show up to class. Maika Bailey is one of those teachers. She is also a delegate with the union and joins us now from the Gold Coast. Good morning to you. Maika, you've rejected the pay deal you've been offered. What is a fair offer?
Thank you, Catherine, for having us on the show here today. I really think that we need more than just pay. It's about our working conditions. It's about the fact that, you know, our students and our teachers are coming to school with increased levels of occupational violence. Our workloads have increased exponentially. We're just trying to go in every day and do the best by our students.
Teachers have rallied in front of Parliament House. Now you're going into strike mode. How big a decision was it to take this action?
You know, it's huge. We understand today is going to be very difficult for a lot of our families and our communities, but we also want to thank them for supporting us in our decision. We don't take this lightly. We have been pushed to this decision by the current government because, unfortunately, they are not listening to what we need in our schools. You know, our schools are drowning. Our teachers are suffering. Our students are suffering. And, you know, we really need our communities behind us, which they have been, and we appreciate that. We also appreciate the support from the media as well because, you know, we can't do this without our communities. And, you know, we really just want people to understand that it is about our students, and we know we don't take this action lightly.
As you said, you want better conditions, but can you give us a specific number? What percentage could bring this to an end?
So, you know, it's not just about the percentage, as I mentioned before. You know, it's about a package of a deal. And unfortunately, the government is not coming to the table with that. They have done nothing to talk about how they are going to change attraction and retention in our schools. We've got teachers leaving in droves. We want to be able to encourage, you know, beginning teachers to come into this profession. Unfortunately, if we stick with this 8% that they have put on the table, in 3 years' time, we will be some of the lowest paid teachers in the country. You know, you tell me how that is actually going to help us. If we're already in a critical teacher crisis, where are we going to be in 3 years' time? I can't stand by and watch as, you know, our schools are decimated by the fact that no one wants to stay. I've been a teacher for over 19 years, and I would like to think that I will teach for another 19 years, you know, and more. But I don't know that that can happen in the current conditions and climate.
What do you say to parents that are at home this morning? They're trying to get out the door to work. They've been told not to send their children to schools. It's massively inconvenient for them. What do you say to those parents?
You know, I think we have to look at the overwhelming community support that we do have. You know, I work as an inclusion teacher in a school and with complex needs for students, and I understand today is going to be very challenging for some families, but overwhelmingly we have the support of our communities. Schools are the community. If we are not good places for our children to be, if our teachers aren't resourced appropriately to do the job that, you know, we have been told we should be doing, teachers should just be able to teach, then, you know, where are we going to end up? So I know it's very challenging for our communities right now, but I ask us to continue to stay with us like you have already and know that we have your children's best interests at heart always, and this wasn't a decision that was taken lightly.
If the government don't come to the table, are you willing to strike again? Could this become a protracted campaign?
You know, that's not what we want to have happen, but unfortunately, if that's what has to happen, then that will be another decision that we will put to our members. It won't be taken lightly. We will have to think long and hard about that. The government really is the one to make the decision. We have told them what we need and they're not budging. You know, it's not just about the pay. I know that that has been focused on a lot, but it's about all of the other things. Occupational violence in schools, attraction and retention. You know, on the Gold Coast, we have it pretty good. We are still suffering, but there are parts of this state where we have, you know, classrooms that are not having their teacher in front of them on a regular basis because they're having to be split up. We've got schools that are not being able to have their teachers with their working conditions met. We've got schools that school leaders are having to go in and take classes. You know, whole year level levels are having to be taught, science in the hall because they can't find teachers. It's got to stop somewhere.
Maika Bailey, thank you so much for your time this morning.
Thank you so much. Again, we appreciate all the community support and support from the media as well.
Let's head to Victoria now, where a new police operation will begin targeting e-bike riders doing the wrong things on the state's roads. Costa Haratos joins us from Melbourne. Costa, good morning. So what has got authorities so concerned?
Hi there, James. Well, we know that e-bikes, like the ones behind me this morning, have become a really popular way for people to commute around the cities across Australia. But what's got Victorian authorities concerned is an alarming spike in the number of incidents. There's been 113 collisions this year alone in the first 7 months. That's compared to 144 for all of last year. Now, this includes fatalities and also serious collisions that are leaving some people in emergency rooms. Victoria Police says that the vast majority, about 90% of those incidents, are for people who are failing to make their bikes compliant and also not obeying traffic rules. And they're promising hefty fines for those people who aren't following the rules. For people using their phone, it's about $611 infringement notice. Failing to obey traffic lights, just over $500. People without a helmet, $254. And for people who fail to give way, $204. Victoria Police said that high-powered bikes are among those that they're most concerned about. Some actually will fall under the same restrictions as a motorbike and require some people to undergo additional licensing and registration. James, the overwhelming message from Victoria Police is to make sure that their bikes are compliant and, of course, to ride safely.
They are good reminders, Costa. Thank you very much for that.
A 13-year-old girl has been charged with the murder of a 14-year-old girl after a stabbing in Newcastle on Monday night. Police say both girls are Chinese nationals who were visiting the Hunter region as part of a student exchange programme. The 13-year-old has been refused bail and will appear in a children's court later today.
Australia's eSafety Commissioner is accusing YouTube and Apple of turning a blind eye to child abuse material. The country's internet watchdog found that both fail to track the number of user reports they receive of child sexual abuse. YouTube and Apple also haven't responded to questions about how long it took them to respond to such reports.
A mining industry analyst says Nyrstar smelters in Port Pirie and Hobart won't be able to compete against China's cheaper production despite a multi-million-dollar government bailout. Analyst Tim Treadgold says the rescue package doesn't tackle key issues of China's cheaper energy costs and bigger manufacturing base.
The New South Wales Parliament has failed to condemn independent MP Mark Latham over allegations that he disclosed authorised information under parliamentary privilege. The New South Wales Labor Party put forward a condemnation motion after accusing him of sharing medical records under parliamentary privilege about a fellow MP. Mr Latham has also separately been accused of sharing disparaging photos and comments about female MPs. However, he does deny any wrongdoing.
A US Coast Guard report into the OceanGate Titan submersible disaster has ruled it to have been a preventable tragedy. The report found the company's chief executive, Stockton Rush, who died aboard the vessel, ignored safety warnings and sidelined the firm's board.